Hello, and welcome to this introductory tutorial on how to connect with and utilize in your daily life the sacred symbol known as the Premapranahuti. Following, we will briefly explore the history of sacred symbols leading up to the advent of the Premapranahuti manifesting, so that you may have a reference, an understanding of its importance and relevance for our lives today as we navigate the unfolding of the ascension of the planet and of ourselves. You will be guided through a thorough basic demonstration on how to draw and activate the Premapranahuti in your aura, which you can perform daily as part of a spiritual routine. This will assist you in dealing with the plethora of symptoms associated with the ascension process, both physical and mental, that you may experience along your journey on the spiritual path. Connecting to the Premapranahuti can advance your ascension in many positive ways. As you don your body of light and transform in consciousness over time, ultimately standing fully in your own power and living directly in divine alignment the majority of the time. So, what is meant when the term ascension is invoked? Essentially, if you operate on any level of the spiritual path, your main focus becomes entrained to exist ever more in alignment with Source, meaning embracing light-filled living, harmony and peace within the self, and in relation to your environment, in a committed and consistent manner, often in the face of sometimes chaotic and misaligned energy erupting as a defense mechanism against the beacon of high vibration and positive energy you will radiate. Part of the path is to avoid engaging in unnecessary drama and old, lower vibrational patterns of behavior, and directing your energy into service toward your fellow man in some form or fashion. Of course, there are many aspects to the ascension process that one can explore, yet which are not directly pertinent to this tutorial. But it is important to bring forth a basic awareness here in that the ascension is unfolding, irregardless of whether we currently feel ready for it or not. And those who step up to embrace the grace and miracle of this divine dispensation at this time will experience what is akin to that which is meant by the maxim, living heaven on earth. Allow me to elaborate. As a species on the planet, we have ascended a number of times before, yet because the planet was in a much denser vibration, we needed to leave the planet, reincarnating in a successive lifetime, and thus then doing what we could to help usher in then a next step in evolution. Often we were assisted by the then already ascended masters, as they are often called, particularly Saint Germain and Master Kuthumi, but guided both on earth and from spirit by many high level of beings, such as Babaji and Sanat Kumara. Of course, you can explore further, if you have not as yet done so on your own, their various historic contributions. And each cycle over time brought the planet and ourselves literally out of the Dark Ages into the Renaissance, and more recently into the New Age, presaging the golden age of light to come, indeed, heaven on earth. And now, due to our collective shedding of much karmic residue, as we're incarnated lifetime after lifetime, our development allows us for a higher, less dense, more open to light existence and experience all around. This may seem in contradiction to the present state of the world at large, but all of that ensuing chaos you may see or observe, it is a reaction to the light entering consciousness, both mass consciousness and personal, more and more, and the resistance to the coming great light of the ascension, which can result in war or even extreme climate reactions, which we have seen time and again ratcheting up. This is temporary. Think of ascension as the metaphor of being in the eye of the hurricane. All is calm, balanced. You can look up and see sunlight through the cloud cover. But as soon as you step back, forward, or to either side, you can easily get caught up in the, the maelstrom, the surrounding maelstrom, and swept away. Yet if you stand in the center, invoking light and your I am presence, you become stronger and light-filled, and the storm will eventually pass you by. You could even see swirling about you in the consuming melee, people, objects that you were once attached to move away, and you can release attachment yourself, raising your vibration and your light quotient even more. And now imagine if 1 billion people in the world did so as well in tandem with you, how powerful that would be. And this is intrinsic to our representation here, because this ascension involves the planet herself. Allow me to explain. Since 1987, what is known as the harmonic convergence, many high energies at that time were gifted and or reintroduced to the planet, for at the collective soul level, humanity felt ready and called them forth. Thus, the Mahatma energy finally began to anchor in our dimension, stimulating the return of the divine feminine as the planetary and primary spiritual font of wisdom over the divine masculine paradigm, which by this time had become distorted and incoherent. As well, the 5 higher divine rays of creation were gifted to humanity, the secret rays of creation were discovered, and the sacred violet flame began a powerful resurgence in the collective consciousness, which carries on to this day. Of course, there is much to engage with and consciously with intention explore here as regards these powerful sources of divine light and love. But for our purposes here, suffice it to say that more light than ever before began concentrating around our Mother Earth, which resulted in the Earth then having ascended into 4D, fourth dimensional reality, supporting and paving the way for the masses to do likewise on our collective journey to 5th dimensional unconditional love consciousness. The other times we have ascended in the past, the Earth did not do so with us, but now it has. Why is that important? The revelation is because the Earth has elevated into 4D to assist humanity to join suit, and despite the predictable backlash from the lower energies still attached to 3D living, the vibration on the planet is consistently high enough now to allow each of us to ascend while remaining alive and in our bodies. This is your divine birthright. This is the miracle of the ascension. On the path there, you will most likely experience symptoms associated with the transmutation that accompanies ascension in these modern times, your being eventually coalescing and morphing into the much vaunted crystalline body of light. But you will live out your natural lifespan, and whether you complete the transformation, taking place during this incarnation, in spirit, or in your next life stream here, allowing your ascension process to unfold is a win-win proposition, and that you will experience a more light-filled and healing reality as you will have released attachment to the many things that no longer serve you. Again, you may utilize the violet flame or the Mahatma energy or the various divine rays of creation to assist you in this most important of endeavors. But just be cognizant that the closer you are to experiencing the giving and receiving of unconditional love on a continual basis, the closer you are to ascension. Indeed, one must master the integration of all the various aspects of the energies of creation within their consciousness to ascend. And thus, the 51-49% rule comes into effect, in that if an energy is anchoring now or maintaining at least a 51% level, the other 49% will eventually fold in and add to the symphony of light you can hold. Thus, the natural development of your light quotient and embracing the violet flame and the Mahatma can go a long way to assist you in this regard. So, simply continue to allow a more positive approach to spirituality and the invocation of light, past the need to simply heal any unresolved trauma, and know that you are already worthy. You are already deserving just as you are. You do not need to work to overcome any obstacle to growth. Ascension is your divine birthright. So, how does this all tie in with the Premapranahuti? To fully grasp the process, it is vital to briefly also explore another aspect of the spiritual path, the presence and significance of the sacred symbol in our lives. Of course, there are many tools that one can explore to bolster one's growth. And indeed, one of those tools to connect is the incorporation of a sacred symbol into one's spiritual routine. So, what is a sacred symbol? And why is it important to identify and associate with one or more? Since the dawn of time, human beings across all cultural and religious divides have adorned their identification with the divine through a simple, rudimentary drawing or depiction or totem mirroring source and source energy by way of what is commonly known as a sacred symbol. Initially, this consisted of primitive etchings, often in stone, of the sun or the moon, perhaps observed constellations, as a form of worshipful acknowledgement of the life-giving force. As we evolved over time, simple yet sophisticated symbols developed to magnify the presence of divinity in our lives, expressing that we were not alone and that an unseen hand guides us and protects us. Thus, the creation of the talisman, the wearing of a sacred symbol around the neck, resting against the heart, to engender a devotional response within. For instance, I'm wearing here the rising star symbol around my neck, which of course we will explore as an important part of the Premapranahuti symbol itself. This basic yet powerful representation of source, any sacred symbol, remains largely the same today in human estimation as it did at the dawn of time, although each new symbol that has emerged has adjusted to reflect each successive era's understanding and conscious awareness of the divine at that moment in time, and one's ability to access that connection. This was often stifled in the past by the priestly or shamanic class, largely to control the populace out of fear. But the sacred symbol eternally stands apart as an uncomplicated way to embrace and invoke source. Holy books and other sacred texts were many times hidden from the plebeian class, interpreted or misinterpreted by the ruling elite to reflect their own political or dogmatic agenda at the time, which still persists into the modern arena. Yet a sacred symbol, by its very design, often based on the precepts of sacred geometry, has endured within the consciousness of man, as it requires no lengthy or esoteric analysis and study to come to the conclusion that any individual has ready access to the divine, source above to source within, pure connection at all times, and that this is everyone's divine birthright. No judgment overrules this. There is no better or superior race, creed, or ideology over another. Each individual's incarnated soul is equally worthy of Source's unconditional love and assistance, irregardless of the oppressive nature of those systems of religious belief or political adherence that attempt to divide and dominate. The sacred symbol serves as the ultimate mascot of Source in anyone's life, a beacon of hope and protection, a key to awakening the higher self to gain mastery over the lower ego self. Indeed, just looking upon a sacred symbol hanging from your neck or seen such on a wall in your life as the room is set up here. There's a throw blanket here with the Premapranahuti on it, a healing pillow on the shelf here that has the rising star. As you can see behind me, there's a banner with the sacred symbols. So there's a variety of ways that you can use them, incorporate them in your life, have them as a daily reminder to keep in that space of consciousness. And it's enough. This is enough simply just by seeing it, observing it, connecting simply to it, to instantly bring you into a state of alignment and an expansion of consciousness at that moment, and thus elevate your existence in that moment. So each important juncture in mankind's history has produced a symbol or set of symbols to register the level of awareness the populace held at that particular period. Yet for our focus here, we will concentrate on the most recent and most important manifested symbols to understand better the role now that the Premapranahuti can play in the current stage of our spiritual evolution. Previously, the most important emergence of the sacred symbols in the recent past, which served as a bridge to the eventual appearance of the Premapranahuti, has been the Reiki symbols, channeled by Mikao Usui circa 1922 in Japan. These wonderful healing symbols accompany the Reiki healing system modality, which for a long time was a mainstay in holistic energy practice and widely adopted by cultures everywhere to connect with the universal flow in naturally aligning the mind, heart, body, and soul. After the harmonic convergence in 1987 and the advent of the higher divine rays and the Mahatma energy began to flood the planet, Earth's vibration did indeed sufficiently raise enough to ensconce the Earth into fourth dimensional reality. This happened over time and was denoted by many astrological markers known as Stargate days, the most prominent being 10-10-2010, 11-11-2011, and the fairly hyped up and much talked about and written about and anticipated 12-12-2012, the end of the Mayan calendar, widely known as such. From the time of the convergence into the present moment, to mirror the ascension of the planet and to assist mankind to follow suit and to vibrate into fourth and eventual fifth dimensional consciousness, that of unconditional love, the new and important sacred symbols of the ascension began to present steadily, starting in 2003 with the appearance of the Prema Agni. Prema Agni, it translated into English from the Sanskrit, means the fire of divine love, symbolizing the awakening of the heart of mankind. And here is just a closer up representation of the Prema Agni. So the appearance of the Prema Agni precipitated a profound stepping up of divine energy irradiating the earth as more and more individuated souls causated their hearts to open and fuel stronger levels of heart healing to occur, allowing for a potent influx of light available to each human being, so intentioned to embrace the inherent spiritual grace of what the Prema Agni innervated within, which was that initial spark of divine fire of desire to ascend. Shortly thereafter, in 2004, the appearance of the second phase of the new sacred symbol made itself known to us, and that is the rising star, which blends with and completes the Prema Agni symbol at its base. As you can see, there's lines and a six-pointed star above connecting to the base, which is the Prema Agni. Here, the symbol demarcated humanity's crown chakra opening and the acceptance on a soul level for the personal ascension process to begin, should anyone choose to accept it, and to begin to activate both of the planet and within the self individually, as the rising star epitomizes the perfect energy that supports the quality of standing in one's own power and light. Accompanying this symbol, the rising star healing modality also manifested as a gift to accommodate the call of the collective to initiate advanced levels of healing, serving to permanently release all misaligned energies that no longer supported the aspirant as a way to accelerate the ascension process. Now, as the energies of the planet increased and the spiritual atmosphere became less and less densified due to the Mahama energy's reemergence, what is commonly known as the goddess energy began to take root in the mass consciousness, which really equated to the return of the divine feminine principle to balance out the divine masculine approach to living that had until recently held such sway. Thus, the purview of unconditional love began to expand, despite backlash and resistance from the darker elements at play, challenging the dedication of light bearers everywhere to commit to the raising of the light quotient each was and is able to hold, anchor, and disseminate in uplifting their fellow man in need, bypassing fear and issues of unworthiness so that the high heart chakra could open within all of us. And so, to match that increasing expansion of unconditional love awareness, undergirding and protecting the growing font of light mirrored in the planet, now anchored in 4D, holding space until we can catch up with Mother Earth energetically, in 2008, a sister symbol to the Prema Agni and Rising Star manifested, known as the Prema Dharma Dhatu, to aid us in the upkeep of our own capacity to hold and expand love. And here is a representation, as you'll see, different from the Prema Agni, which mirrors the double heart, symbolizing the inclusion and expansion of more and more love energy. Here with the Prema Dharma Dhatu, you can see indeed a mirror and continuing and growing inclusivity of the love vibration on Earth, rather than simply the awakening to it in one's awareness, which is the domain of the Prema Agni. And I'll show you both side by side. Almost one can say masculine and feminine versions, but of course, in spirituality, all of it is as one. Here, focused in 3D, we have these symbols to help us focus and to align and to flow with the areas we need to at a particular time, but it's all of a piece in terms of spiritual love and light. And this beautiful sacred symbol, when incorporated in your daily practice, can assist the seeker in allowing and mastering a high level of the giving and receiving of light and love, which is a precursor to ascension. This was important because it helped to usher in the eventual third phase, if you will, of the new sacred symbols, which is our focus here today, the Premapranahuti. And here I will show you a depiction of the Premapranahuti. As you can see, it's the rising star, and you may notice an extended line with the bowl on the bottom. Because of the still significant adjustment continuing to occur in humanity's spiritual outlook at the soul level, this penultimate and most powerful symbol activated to complete the symbolization of the ascension of man and the consummation that the standing in one's own power and light affords, forever transforming the individual to fully realize their innate potential. This occurred in 2015 when the third portion of the sacred symbol for the New Age anchored the light of the ascension, mascotted by the Premapranahuti symbol, and that is what is known, as we have discussed, the bowl of abundance affixed to the bottom stem of the rising star. And I'll just show you again for those of you who are not as yet familiar. And of course, we're going to fully explore and explain to you everything about it. Thus, the completed symbol itself to become a powerful conglomeration of all that has ever been made manifest in divine accord, with the singular purpose of awakening all to the highest truths. Thus, the bowl of abundance becomes the bowl of manifestation, and the concept of abundance transmutes into the lived in-body experience of what ascension really means: to always think, feel, and act from the space of love over fear, which is the opposite of how we have usually contemplated life most of the time. This will then have a profound impact on our consciousness and our physical bodies, even down to the cellular structure. We are on the frontier of light-filled living, oft looked for but seldom experienced to a great degree and for an extended period of time. Communing with and integrating the new sacred symbols, especially the Premapranahuti and their adjacent healing modalities, invites the space within whereby the aspirant accepts and develops total faith that their needs are met, and a flow of abundance without pause or blockage can become the norm. Thus, consciously flowing with light ensures that the ascension process bypasses any inner saboteur or victim mentality, to operate daily in our lives with true abundance in line with divine will. This is the ultimate habit to adopt, in that we as human beings are creatures of habit, and until we replace one habit with another, so there is no more worthy habit to adopt than holding the light of one's ascension. And the Premapranahuti is pivotal to assist all of us in this regard. What will eventuate in the future has yet to be written, right? But as more of us hold our ascension light, stand in our own power, and realize our divine birthright of pure and total harmony with Source, the Premapranahuti will prove essential in helping us to navigate the transition to all of humanity ascending towards 5D, or rather fifth dimensional consciousness, that of unconditional love. It is possible. It will precipitate. And each of you are a vital part of the divine mosaic that makes it inevitable. The new sacred symbols have come to bolster our progress towards that end. Aligning with the Premapranahuti marks an irrevocable turning point for the future of everyone on the planet, irregardless of where you are on your path to living the promise of the golden age of light in real time, in the now, and while alive in your body. A very exciting time to be alive indeed. So, in a moment, I will guide you through a basic analysis of the Premapranahuti and its components. Now it will be beneficial to briefly review the progression of the new sacred symbols into the Premapranahuti. If you recall, in 2003, the Prema Agni manifested to open the heart to love, thus awakening mankind and beginning the ascension process as the earth began her transition into fourth dimensional reality. As the energy built for the ascension and the earth continued her shifting into 4D, to accommodate and mirror the expansion of love becoming ever more present, the Prema Dharmadhatu came into form to assist the seeker in holding the highest vibration possible of expansion of love. This was in 2008. And it continues to support all who seek to develop compassion for the self and others. As well, the Prema Dharmadhatu served as a bridge to the actual ascension commencing, in spite of resistance to the ever-increasing intense levels of divine energy and light bombarding the planet and all of us. And of course, before that, in 2004, the second phase of the new sacred symbol appeared, connecting with the Prema Agni and accelerating the ascension process. This is symbolized by the six-pointed star and the tail and feathers of the peacock adjoining to the Prema Agni. So although the Premapranahuti is a sister symbol, it's powerful in its own right, and it perfectly mirrors and reflects that transitional period from the heart awakening to start the ascension process, the planet starting to open up, and the earth starting to receive more and more divine feminine energy. And then soon after, the rising star manifesting with the healing modality, because people had really awoken and wanted to go further in an irrevocable manner, meaning never going back to where they were and only standing fully aligned with source. And so the symbol mirrored that. And then the Premapranahuti came because it took a while for the Premapranahuti, the third part of the symbol, to manifest. So source gifted us with a sister symbol to mirror all of that power and energy and light that still is at play and still is an expansion of all that the Premapranahuti, the Prema Agni, and the rising star is. So there's no need to be confused of it. Why is it not part of the symbol? Is it a symbol? It's a perfectly powerful symbol in its own right, particularly when you want to expand your love energy. When you feel the need to that, or you're blocked with that in some way, you can always use the Premapranahuti. And indeed, if you go on the official website or you direct message me in the links below on whatever platform you're viewing this, I can send you many videos and tutorials on how each individual aspect of the symbol, Prema Agni, has its own way to draw it and the healing that comes with it for yourself and for others. The Premapranahuti has its own way of drawing it in your aura for yourself and others, and also to send it long distance. And the rising star symbol is not really drawn. It stands on its own because it's the full, represents the full standing in power and light. And then Premapranahuti, when it manifested, brought everything together. And when that happened, eventuated, then the drawing of it eventually became clear to fully help us navigate the ascension process as we're unfolding it. So if you feel an ebb to your energy or your confidence in moving forward, you do the Premapranahuti, which I will show you by the end of the video, how to draw it on yourself and your aura, and it will bolster and stimulate you and keep you in peak shape. And after you ascend, it will keep you in peak fashion as well. So also in 2008, the Prema birthing modality also manifested at this time in alignment with the divine feminine's return and the Premapranahuti stimulating of love towards all. And that healing modality is about helping you to rebirth into this new eventual crystalline body of light that we all will become, but first in your own consciousness. And these symbols are all about consciousness, because consciousness is the key. When a miracle starts with a shift in perception, as Marianne Williamson has said, and when you shift that consciousness, then Moses can part the Red Sea. He doesn't part the Red Sea and then believe it. He believes it first, he sees it, and then he parts the Red Sea. Similar to you, you incorporate the consciousness and then you move forward in that consciousness. You don't wait for it to hit you on the head. But incorporating and using the symbols helps you to, as you go along, because we have ups and downs, things are happening in the world, in our lives, our energy goes all over the place sometimes, but we always have these sacred symbols. We always have the divine energies to come back to simply and easily to connect with. The violet flame, the Mahatma, the divine rays. And these sacred symbols are powerful, practical, hands-on tools to help us. You see it and, oh, I'm reminded of who I am. And it's just the way the mind registers, because we have a long karmic memory from the beginning of time of doing so. Caveman days, in ancient times, when the planet was denser and we didn't know as much to when we do now, where everybody, and not just the ruling class or not just a few select elite empathic individuals, but everybody and anybody from a janitor to a corporate executive has the wherewithal and the expanse to open up and incorporate all of this divine grace. And that's the most important lesson of the sacred symbols, that everyone is allowed to have an experience and worthy of and deserving of their ascension. So, again, in 2015, after many years of adjustment, needed in the mass consciousness and the planet having then shifted fully into 4D, the third portion of the new sacred symbol made its presence known to become the ultimate and sacred symbol technology, the Premapranahuti, which concludes with the bowl of abundance linking to the bottom stem of the star, the rising star. Also, one could say it consummates in that. Everything comes together. A bowl can grab anything, water, food, and it's really symbolic of the gathering of all of divine sources within you to anchor in the planet and to fully assist you in your ascension process going forward. And it predicated the eventual final step for the initiate into his or her ascension proper, indicating the irrevocable stepping forward into the light. It's not just a little band-aid or a little next step or a little healing that you go to. These healing modalities, these symbols are the real deal. When you step up and you incorporate them and you allow them, they actually benefit you. And sometimes you're not fully aware of it. Sometimes you are over time, but instinctually once you receive the healing or you incorporate the symbol that you're indeed on the path of simply being the fullness of who you are, which is the ascension process. And it's not just flesh, blood, and bone, and you die, you go in a box, and that's it. That's not what the reality is at all. And today, still and long into the future, it will assist you in maintaining your ascension in peak fashion and keep you centered in divine connection and abundance in all areas of your life. So, before we continue, it is important to stress that the sacred symbols presented here are available again to one and all, irregardless of religious affiliation or progress along the path. As such, no monetary exchange of any kind is required to maintain the integrity of what these gifts from divine source can offer to anyone who embraces them with a sense of sincerity and gratitude. You may share them, share this video, incorporate them into your practice however you are guided to do so in various ways, but you are admonished from charging any monetary exchange, so to maintain the highest vibration possible for all, and of course in any way to distort them by adding or detracting or manipulating them through AI or however for a dark purpose, which of course is not a good thing to do. It is important to note that these high vibrational symbols are protected by Trademark and Lineage, both legally and spiritually, and it is most beneficial for everyone that they are employed with the best of intentions, always and in all ways. And again, it's the 51 to 49% rule, in that if 51% of humanity embraces this, the other 49 will eventually fold in if they choose not to leave the planet because they want to continue their 3D journey here or in some other world or some other dimension. Whoever, it helps everyone. It uplifts the whole atmosphere and energy of your own immediate family, your own immediate circle, your work environment, your mission, whatever you do. So always and always, please keep the highest vibration and intention with these symbols, and you'll be great. And now we'll go through all the nuanced particulars of the Premapranahuti symbol so that you can have a more confident intimacy with its inherent spiritual logic and divine sacred geometry. So I'm going to stand and show you. All right. So, as you know, we have the symbol coming together. And as you can see here from the banner, you had the Prema Agni, which came in 2003, the Rising Star, which is a 6-pointed star, and the 11 lines onto the Prema Agni, which came the year later, 2004. Then in 2008, the Prema Dharma Dhatu registered in consciousness as a sister symbol to help us actuate our process and keep us in high vibration and expanding, because the dark at the time and still now is ratcheting up its resistance, and it can create a lot of backlash, discouragement, and such. But the Prema Dharma Dhatu, again, is a very powerful symbol in its own right to keep you expanded in love and extending love to anyone, even an enemy, perceived enemy. So as you can see, it's like a representation of man in symbol form as a mirror to instantly connect. You can see it looks like it has a head, a body, arms, and legs, which indeed it mirrors. In ancient times, it was a crude stick figure, drawn on a rock. Now it's coming full circle to a high, pristine spiritual technology with perfected lines drawn, which is the same, yet elevated, more clicked in, if you will, as the vibration of the planet has elevated and is inviting our consciousness to do the same. It's a signal that true transformation is afoot, as if the divine is recognizing us, recognizing the divine. Almost like divine saying hello even, or the divine, if you will, giving us a badge of merit for stepping up that we can wear, literally. As any proud warrior, this time as a spiritual warrior holding light. So we have the base, which is the Prema Agni. Prema Agni, remember, means the fire of divine love, the fire that sparks within, right? Not a physical fire, obviously. It represents the first phase of ascension, that desire, that initial awakening, initial spark that happens when you start to become enlightened and go, there's something more for me, right? It serves to remind you of your intention to commit and to stay open. The only protection you ever need is an open heart. And I'll elaborate that in a moment. Science itself promotes that the electromagnetic field of the heart is 100,000 times stronger than that of the brain. So the Prema Agni serves to keep the heart open as the ascension process unfolds, strengthening you to not fall back on closing down, which sometimes happens. Something happens that isn't pleasant, or a projection against you because you're giving increased light off. We just want to close down and be on social media or stay to ourselves or not involve or engage in some way. But the Prema Agni keeps your heart open in spite of all that, which is why doing it daily, and I'll draw it for you, for those of you who don't know, I'll draw it for you soon so you can see how it leads into drawing the Premapranahuti. So what we have appears as a stick figure of a human form. Now, in ancient times, the Greek philosopher Protagoras proclaimed that man is the measure of all things. And of course, in the late 1490s, Leonardo da Vinci immortalized this in his famous sketch of the Vitruvian Man. I'm sure many of you have seen that. If you haven't, I suggest to research it. Da Vinci believed that the human body was an analogy for the universe. What these wise and intuitive men, among others, tuned into was the concept that the soul is focused in this dimension to carry forth the divine plan, and these sacred symbols culminating in the Premapranahuti are a reminder, a mirror to us of that sacred purpose. We so often take for granted the miracle that is the body. And soon I will draw the Premapranahuti in our aura to reconnect with the core essence of who we are, and I will teach you how to do that. And then you can have that every day, and you can incorporate that into your spiritual routine, and it will do a great deal to help you on your journey. So the core of the symbol is the Prema Agni, and you can see the heart is the headlight, symbolizes heart overhead. And I think the heart is symbolizes the softness and coming together, is how this, even though this doesn't look obviously like a physical heart in the body, but it is universally recognized as the heart shape. And then you have the body, seems like the body, right, of the figure. This is a triangle representing the strongest geometric shape, also representing the Trinity and the new crystalline body of light once ascended. So there's two lines, right? One line down from the heart activates the high heart chakra and brings the energy fully into the body, anchored, heart overhead. So you're telling yourself when you draw it, when you incorporate it, I'm now heart overhead. I'm not bypassing what my intuition, what my gut, what my heart, what my feeling is telling me. I am connecting with it. I'm not denying it. And then you have the second line down from the triangle. At the tip of the triangle, the top, which is the throat, which would be equivalent to where the throat or high heart chakra is, there are what you may see are 9 zigzags to the right, little zigzags. And 9 equals completion, obviously, right? And when you draw in energy or you heal in energy, the right releases from the body and the left attracts and brings in. So what you're symbolizing is you want to release completely at that time any debris that's in the heart. So you'll see when you draw it on yourself or draw it on another, as I'm going to show you in a moment, how that helps you. Because when we do these symbols, we're drawing in our aura, in our energy. It's not just on the physical body, which is very important. And I'll go over that more later. So it's the act of completely removing any blockage from the heart opening. And then you have a line across where the bottom of the heart and the tip of the triangle meet from right to left, again releasing. And that symbolizes the arms opening. It looks like arms, right? And that symbolizes the cutting through the limitation of consciousness to expand one's fullness and scope that the light in the heart can hold. So remember that if the energetic field of the heart is 100,000 times stronger than that of the brain, when you're not closing down, you're opening that, you're irradiating love and light, and you're going to have that mirrored back to you. That's what we mean when we say the only protection you ever need is an open heart, because you automatically will most likely not attract negativity. So then, and you'll see if you explore on the web or you direct message me and I send you some videos, or on your own searching, you will know that each symbol has its different way of drawing, as I explained, on someone, on yourself, long distance. And so don't be confused by it. Just simply follow the inherent logic of it. And as long as your intention is pure, everything will be fine. So then the addition. Once Earth started accelerating into 4D, and more people were opening up, the need to heal strongly, to not go back into fear, became very prevalent. And so that's why immediately after, the Rising Star appeared, and the modality associated with the Rising Star healing modality, which is really the most powerful healing modality that you can experience on the earth today. Permanent personal healing, that is, in that its energy works to irrevocably remove anything that no longer serves you, so that light replaces it and you don't go back. It's not just a gentle healing for the time, which is at the time that you may need it, which is what the Prema Agni can do for you. You can do the Prema Agni daily. You can do the Prema Dharma Dhatu daily, but you can't do a Rising Star every day. It's very too powerful. It's almost like a psychic surgery, going into surgery. You have to recover and you have to incorporate And then, it takes time to work depending on what your system is doing and where you're at. So, the rising star comprises the six-pointed star, again, symbolizing the ascension process, ratcheting up, and the crown chakra of humanity opening, and all the other higher chakras within the aura as well. Now, most of us know we have the 7 chakras, the root chakra, the Hara chakra, the solar plexus chakra, the heart chakra, the throat, the third eye, and the crown. But as we open and ascend it, and especially if you're on the path and you're getting any kind of initiation or healing or teaching, you are aware that you are more than what you have been, and that your aura is now the largest organ in your body. It used to be that the skin was considered the largest organ of the body. But our aura really is 3 to 6 feet around us, all around, up and down. That's all part of you, right? So when you're drawing these symbols in the aura, you're healing, clearing, refreshing, releasing, opening up in that time your aura. When you do a powerful healing like the rising star, all of that is compressed, surgically excised that needs to be, and replaced back whole. When you do a daily healing on yourself or others, you're doing it in your aura, you're clearing up for that day. Maybe you had a bad dream the night before. Maybe you had a bad experience. You have fear of something coming up, an event or a date or a meeting. And you do the Premapranahuti on yourself to keep you open. So those are a mini little healing that you can do for yourself every day. So the higher chakras, there's many theories, and there's people say there's tons of chakras, but there's just a few that are very important. So think of it like if your aura is like an egg and you're encased in the egg. Below your feet is the Earth Star chakra, which you explore at the bottom edge of your aura. At the top of your aura, there is the Source Star chakra, which we will, talk about, which is, as above, so below, the real connection to that as you're expanding into the fullness of who you are. And then midway from that, there's the Stellar Gateway chakra, which connects with all other dimensions and beings in time and space. And then you have the Soul Star, which is 6 to 8 inches above your crown chakra, opening, igniting, and remembering all of your experience and bringing forth all of your mission as you move forward in your ascension process. Of course, there are other chakras in the hands of you, etc. But these are the major ones. And so the crown chakra that was so put upon as almost as if a weight on your shoulders is a weight on your crown spiritually, lifts, and therefore the crown chakra of humanity opens because the higher chakras open and allow more light as you ascend, as you grow and evolve, and therefore your crown can open and your awareness of your connection to the divine becomes as above, so below, source above to so below, source within you. Simple and easy. And the more you call in the divine energies, the more you incorporate the symbols, this all activates that, and it keeps it going as you're doing it, as you're evolving and ascending. So again, it's a great spiritual tool to have in your arsenal to keep yourself in peak experience of your own ascension process consciously, which is the miracle, because at this time we are allowed to do that and be alive in our body, where before we had to die and come back more evolved, which is why the Mayans left and came back, and the Egyptians were always seeking the ascension and all these, but the planet was too dense at the time. Even though people had the desire, it wasn't fully ready yet. Now it's ready. Now it's here. And it may seem counterintuitive because so much dark is going on, but if you can get yourself in that eye of the hurricane, as I explained to you in the beginning, and you can really see that if you stay centered in light, all that is swirling around you will eventually dissolve or not touch you. That's the role and the goal and the challenge and the purpose of the light worker at this time. That's why when a spiritual teacher will say, mind your own business, that's what they mean. They don't mean not be nosy. They mean stay in your essence and your power and your light. And the more people do that, the more it changes the environment overall, and it bleeds out from yourself, your immediate circle, your family, your friends. And this is our journey at this time. So, because like the body, again, the energy of this symbol radiates all around it, although it's unseen. And you radiate all around you unseen. So if you're fully open, your Earth star is activated, and your Source star is activated, and your Soul star is open, and your crown is open, and your stellar gateway is wide, people are feeling and seeing, and you are feeling and seeing, sensing a more fully functioning you. This is itself the ascension process unfolding in practical terms. But you get to see it and do it consciously, which is the purpose of this tutorial, that in terms of the Premapranahuti and the symbols and how they assist us in that regard. Okay. So the six-pointed star, by the way, has been a sacred symbol that has been used in various cultures for thousands of years. Most recently, it's being adopted as a widespread representative symbol of Judaism by European Jews in the 19th century to match the Christian cross, which, by the way, is inculcated into the symbol. In fact, the Prema Agni, and indeed the Premapranahuti, in its entirety includes in some form or fashion every number, sacred geometry, shape, and sacred symbol. So the appearance here of the six-pointed star, which initiated the second phase of the ascension process of the planet and of ourselves, should we choose to accept the mission, is only a spiritual significator of as above, so below. Yin and yang, the divine masculine and divine feminine coming into balance within the individual. It is not indicative of any religious or organizational affiliation. It represents the spirit source, connecting with the source within each individual. The triangle fully holding that shape, and we know the triangle, it makes sense because it's the most tensile, strong shape in geometry itself and in sacred geometry. The three lines to either side and the five descending lines from the base of the star to the top of the heart, they represent the tail and feathers of the peacock, which is often associated with the human ego. Many times, for those of you who are familiar with Hinduism or the god Krishna, you'll see in his portraits, there's more than not, often than not, depicted a peacock in the corner of the picture, symbolizing Krishna's dominion over his own ego. So they represent the mastery of spirit over the ego, which is the whole game of the ascension, to elevate beyond the lower vibration of 3D consistently. We need our ego. So it speaks to the containing of the ego within the whole and incorporating that as we're growing and evolving, not being an end in itself or predominant, which is a lot of the problem that has been happening with divine masculine. And that is being shifted with the inclusion of the divine feminine energy. And we are just currently in the time where that is all, in play, at play. And so it's important for us to keep that center and hold that light no matter what. And finally, the bowl of abundance connected to the bottom of the symbol, which anchors all of the divine life force energy into and through the body. This occurred in 2015 when the third phase of the ascension process really began to ascend, and thus the final completed symbol of the Premapranahuti manifested. And that's why we say it is the penultimate sacred symbol. You don't need anything else. Everything else is incorporated within this. This is who you are, who you will become, a mirror representation of that. The fully realized crystalline body of light, Admin Kadmon, ascended human being. And that is the journey you are on. And everybody present, whether they're conscious of it or not, is on that journey. And there are those who are more opposed to it that will either find a way to leave the planet and return and work things out in a different way, or there were people who eventually will step up. And again, as light workers, we lead by example. We're light holders, light anchorers. It's not that you put on a show, it's that you hold the light, and those that will be drawn to you will be drawn to you as moths to a flame, and those that won't will just fall off. And the more light you hold, the more you're able to dispel darkness and attract even more light. And these symbols will help you do that. So it also represents the Earth Star chakra below the feet and aligns with the assistant of the earth and all of humanity shifting into eventual fifth dimensional unconditional love, because the earth is now fourth dimensional reality. Remember, the earth has never ascended with us before when we've ascended in the past, but now it has. So that's a huge shifting and awakening. And again, we're in that time period where the effects of that awakening are still being worked through and felt. So that's why it seems sometimes crazy out there and inside sometimes, because you're working through it. So again, we always have the divine sacred energies to incorporate simply. I am presence, please be present. And it's there. You don't have to be an initiate. You don't have to be an adept. You don't have to spend millions of dollars on an initiation. You have the right to stand in your power and say, I am presence, please be present, whether you're a janitor, whether you're a homeless person, whether you're a billionaire, whether you're a teacher, whatever you are, housewife, and it will be there. It's for everyone. And so the Earth Star chakra has always been there, but it's as the Earth and the Divine Feminine Mahatma began to fully anchor, it sort of blossomed like a lotus, and it's there to support us and to anchor all of this divine energy, again, to hold us, and as we can experience the light more and more while we're alive in our body. And again, of course, you're encouraged to visit the official website noted in the description of this video presentation to explore further. Here today in this first Premapranahuti Circle, the intent is to offer a simple, practical tutorial on the essence of the Premapranahuti and its potential in our lives. As more of humanity meet the internal call to advance on the spiritual path, the bowl of abundance manifested, right? To encourage surrender to source and right conduct, to manifest all that one can need on all levels of being, so that when you are connected with the Earth Star, you feel that it's okay to desire, because you're in alignment with source, what's best for you, whatever that is. So this is the Premapranahuti, the penultimate sacred symbol for the New Age and the Ascension. And Prema refers to divine love, Prana refers to the universal life force, and Huti derives from Ahuti, meaning an offering, the transmission of divine life force into the heart of the seeker to purify him or her. In short, Prema is the love, Prana is the life force, and Huti is the offering of that force in service to the divine and one's fellow man, all put together in one word, Premapranahuti. So to review, in addition to the six-pointed star to manifest and designate the rising star, the fundamental, geometry relies on equilateral triangles. So you see here the two triangles, as above, so below. And when they come together, they sort of form that powerful interlocking connection. And that's what I mean when I say by irrevocability, because once you're in that space, you are in light, right? The upward pointing one shows aspiration, fire, male energy, and the human reaching for the divine. The downward pointing triangle shows descent, water, feminine energy, and divine reaching into the physical realm. So again, it's the coming together of both of everything to become whole. It has nothing to do with religion or anything else. You notice there are 11 lines, 11 being the first master number, and is considered the most intuitive and psychic of all numbers. Known as the spiritual messenger, it represents the bridge between the conscious and subconscious realms, symbolizing profound empathy, spiritual awakening, and even visionary inspiration. And also, what it does is it serves to align the higher chakras with the ancient chakra system that we have incorporated and incarnated with lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, and with the Earth Star. So it brings everything together. And that's why you have the pristine lines of it, right? And also 5 represents change and transformation. As to the bowl, here, it symbolizes all divine grace anchoring in you and into you as you offer your service to it. In Tibetan tradition, practitioners traditionally practice letting go of greed and inviting spiritual purity and fulfillment, and they would pour water into the bowl daily. It also signifies the new earth ascending with us, and again, the Earth Star fully activating to help us stand in our own power before, during, and after the ascension, to live a real experience with Source always present. Because remember, once you are ascending, and of course it's an ongoing process for most of us in this lifetime, for those who are younger and are aware enough to do it, of course they will have more lengths of years and time and probably make a significant contribution somewhere down the line spiritually. But for many of us, we're of a certain age where we have a certain amount of time left, but it doesn't matter because it all goes into the next incarnation, into the next, experience, and it all unfolds, right? But it's all, as I said, a win-win proposition, because no matter where you are on your path, it always helps you. I liken it to a gym. When I do workshops, I always call them spiritual gyms. So in other words, when you go to a gym, a physical gym, you work out your muscles, and you have to keep working them out to maintain their bigness or their energy or whatever, because we are in a body, but not of the body. When you go to a spiritual gym, something like this, or a workshop or an initiation, or wherever you partake of that's in integrity and light, you never lose that. Your consciousness becomes more enlightened, and that never goes away. You only keep adding to it. So again, the symbols will help you keep adding and keep that peak consciousness of light wherever you're at, all the time that you're at it, because we don't know what's going to happen once we ascend. We don't know what we'll be doing. The future is yet to be written. It may be we just hold light for the rest of our life and then come back the next time and do something significant. Or we can all of a sudden, be manifesting food out of our hands to feed hungry people. Or we could be sending light healing and instantly heal people of cancer. We don't know. But when you hold that much light, that's what's possible. But you have to get yourself to the flow of that, whatever that's going to be. And remember, you are not the doer, right? We are not the doer. Source is doing through us. So now we finally come to the active portion of the tutorial. And I will now demonstrate and explain how to draw the Premapranahuti as a body mudra, which I encourage you to do daily to maintain the highest level of vibration at every stage of your ascension process I explained and beyond, and it will help you keep going. Of course, you can wear it around your neck or have it on a blanket or whatever you like. So I'm initially going to draw it quietly, and you'll see it how it is. And then I'm going to take each section so you can become fully intimate and clear with it, so that when you go to do it, you can be fully confident and understand it. And then at the end, I'm going to do one again in silence, full out. So if you want to mark the timestamp, you can always go back to wherever you're viewing it, on whatever platform, YouTube or whatever. So you don't have to see the whole video again if you want to keep practicing ongoing. And at some point, I will release a clip of just doing the actual symbol. But this needs to happen first to expand the purview. It's time for the Premapranahuti to help us accelerate to that next level, those of us who want to hold that light. So here we go. Just observe for now. Premapranahuti, 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 Shiva. And you could see I couldn't help but a smile formed on my face because I immediately felt the opening, the energy in that experience. When we say spiritually we want to come home, this is what we mean. So remember, ascension is a descension, a spiritualization of matter into form. You don't go up on a cloud like, a Hollywood version of Jesus after 3 days come out of the tomb. That's not how it works for us. Maybe for him. But for us, we bring in and we become, and then we irradiate out. And then whatever happens, happens. But you can rest assured that it's all good, or at least 95% of it is going to be good, especially the more and more light you hold. And so for those of you who are ready, the time is now. And again, I can't stress enough how powerful and important, and what a grace, what a divine dispensation to have this simple, easy, practical, hands-on spiritual tool of the Premapranahuti symbol to draw and have every day to keep you wherever you're at. And again, don't judge yourself. Be easy with the Creator. You are one with Source. Source is one with you. Allow your process to unfold. It might be different than someone else, less or more, whatever. It doesn't matter. We're all the same in the end. We're all one. We're all light, right? So now I'm going to take you through each individual's phase and step of the symbol and how to draw it so you get a clearer, fuller understanding. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to direct message me at my email in the bio or in the body of text, wherever platform you're viewing, or you can leave a comment on YouTube or wherever, and I will definitely answer your question. So with the other symbols, you stand with your feet together, but now you are already the Premapranahuti. So the point is to just stand with your feet slightly apart, slightly out, not too much, not like a ballerina pose, but just basic, stand out, comfortable. You're in your element. You are. That's it. You are who you are, right? And you take a moment. I always take a moment to center. Of course, if you are alone, you can, do it more vocally, if you will. If people are close by, you want to say the Premapranahuti silently to yourself is fine. But it's good to voice it, and you don't have to scream it, but it's good to voice it aloud. So stand with your feet, take a moment to center. And you're going to breathe in, and then breathe in slightly when you're ready, and then breathe out. You could always breathe in through your nose and gently out through your mouth, and bring your arms out. So here you are signaling to your aura, to your energy. You want to release and expand, stand in your own power, and maintain wherever you're at your ascension process, right? And then you're going to breathe in, bringing your hands together, back in. So you're bringing in light. And you breathe in at the same time, you form a triangle up above you. And just right above your head in this general area is great. At that point, you exhale gently from your mouth. And here, what you're doing is you're breathing in, holding till your consciousness shifts. Now that your consciousness is opening to the higher chakras, or opening to the vibration and the light coming in, then you're releasing, you're exhaling. This is where you're at now. Remember, breath is the key to ascension. Breath is intention. Breath is everything. Simply breathing throughout the process really activates everything. You don't need any special mumbo jumbo or anything else. And at that point, you're going to then bring your fingers together and you're going to do the downward triangle. Then you're going to go a little down and do the upward triangle. Here again, you're opening your crown, you're cleaning and cleansing your higher chakras, you're clearing any obstacle to you fully ascending at this time, wherever you're at, and you're signifying that you're ready to take in more light. Again, if you're spatially, sometimes people are spatially challenged and they do this kind of thing and too much or too little, don't worry. Keep your intention pure. That's the most important thing. The masters, the light, divine will always accept a pure intention. But of course, being that this is a tutorial, I want to show you the simple, easy, practical, technical way. So of course, the more pristine it is, the better for you. But there's no judgment. There's no wrong or right way. You won't mess up, but it's good to practice. Now, the thing with the other symbols, the other phases of the symbol, it's more of a sort of a technical thing. Here, all the symbol is drawn in front of you in your consciousness because everything's coming together. Think of a kaleidoscope. All the energy's coming together, and so you're going to be drawing. You might feel like you're superimposing parts over each other instead of drawing it like, shouldn't the triangle be here? And just go with the flow. And again, your natural handspring. You don't have to reach. You don't have to do anything funny. You just stand in your power and light. Your arms is your own natural extension of your aura. And this is just enough. You don't have to do any kind of extra exertion. You don't exert your neck back too much and crank your neck. Just simple and easy, and think flow and ease. Think Tai Chi or Puijang or anything like that. It's the same premise. Simple, easy, and it'll be effective. So you did this, you released your breath, and you did this. Now you're going to take your thumb and your pinky. You're going to hold that. When you bring the fingers together, it anchors and holds the circuit of energy that you're doing. And so that's why you do that. So when you bring the fingers together and do the star, it emphasizes it. When you bring your thumb and finger together, it completes a circuit of energy, so it's more powerful. And you take the three, representing the three lines on either side of the star. So you just, and again, it doesn't have to be technical. Where is this? Where does the star end? Just trust your intuition at the time. And again, if you do too much or too little, just your intention is pure. Then you're going to drop your left hand. You're going to open your right hand. And you're going to just come down, signifying you're bringing the lines down on top to rest on the heart, right? Then you're going to draw the heart right in front of you, heart overhead. See how it's almost framing my face, right? Coming to the throat chakra. It's actually touching the high heart chakra, which is between the throat and the heart, right? Then you're going to bring the line down, and you bring the line down to your solar plexus almost. You don't have to go, the solar plexus is your will versus God's will. So you're connecting and centering to the divine. Then you go back up again, right where you were. You don't have to worry about, where did the triangle end? Where did the heart end? You don't do any of that. You just do a triangle. Again, if you do this, it's okay, but try to stay within just the line of your body. Simple. Do the triangle. Then you drop your left hand again. You go up to the top of where you drew the triangle. You remember it as close as possible. And you do 9 zigzags to the right, small zigzags. 1, 2, 3, 4, going down, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again, if you do this kind of thing, it's okay, but you want to stay within the energy of what you're doing, because it's like you're scraping away debris, right? And then you bring that down again to your root chakra, wherever your arm naturally falls, and it's usually your root chakra. So you're going all of your chakras, your Hara chakra, your chakra, just naturally, right? So you did the triangle. Now you bring your arm up to the right, signifying again that you want your energy inside in your aura. You're in your aura, and now you're scraping your aura. You want to release, so you go right to left. And again, just go over the point. Again, everything is being drawn, superimposed almost in this field, your field of consciousness in front of you, what you're seeing, what you're psychically and physically seeing right in front of you. And your fingers are together when you do that, right? Then you're going to release your fingers and make a bowl with your hand. And you're going to up and over your head in your aura, and you're going to follow it, watching the bringing in of whatever abundance and light the universe wants to give you at that time. And you're going to come and rest at your Hara chakra. So you touch on your solar, your root, and now your Hara chakra, the seat of your creativity. And your hand is cupped in the bowl shape. And you can close, I like to close my eyes. You don't have to. And you hold for a moment. And again, if you have a few moments, hold. If you're in a rush, just do a few seconds. But don't rush it or belabor it. Just allow it to naturally flow. And when you're ready, you say to yourself 3 times aloud, or of course, if you need to, silent. Premapranahuti, 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 Shiva. And you bring your hands up to your heart chakra, holding the bowl, symbolizing that you're offering up, you're turning on the switch, you're allowing your heart to be fully anchored in the Ascension, and you're ready for whatever the Premapranahuti has to bring you and to open up to you and allow for you. In alignment with divine source and will, and you will transform. And the more you do it, the more you do it, the more light you will hold, the more you will anchor, the more you will transform in consciousness and eventually in your body. Because you will go through ascension symptoms in your body, hot and cold, sleep, no sleep, itching, and feeling like your nerves are crawling, to being too active. Like all those things they're temporary, and if they're temporary, they're just ascension symptoms, and it's all part of the process. And doing this simple thing will help you. And then when you're ready, put your hands at your side. Again, of course, I'm smiling, because at the end of the day, it's uplifting. And that's what you want to feel, that upliftment, and that's what it will provide for you. And that upliftment will eventually be so strong it will carry the day. It may take a while to get there, but again, you have this tool at your disposal, plus all the other things that you may be doing, initiations, healings, teachings, seeing a teacher, whatever it is, So again, it's just another powerful, simple tool to incorporate into your daily routine. And then when you're ready, you just go about your business. Now, I did tell you I was going to show you the Prema Agni, and with the Prema Agni, you draw it differently. You start here at the point of consciousness, fingers together. You do a triangle over your heart. You go to the top of the triangle, do the 9 zigzags to the right, come down. Then you do the heart overhead, heart pops through the top of the triangle and comes down. Then hands together, you go across right to left. And then you open your arms, Prema Agni, Prema Agni, Prema Agni, and you feel your heart opening. And then, of course, you can bow in gratitude if you like. And then when you draw it on somebody's back, you do it a little different even. Again, you have to follow the other tutorials that teach Prema Agni, and the Prema Dharma Dhatu is similar in drawing and application. But again, these are all powerful tools that you can use. However, if you use the Pranahuti by itself every day, it still incorporates all of that. But again, if you feel you need your heart open, you do the Prema Agni. If you feel you need to expand in some area of compassion or love for yourself or others, you do the Prema Dharma Dhatu. The rising star, you can just contemplate it. But if you want to bring it all together and you want to move forward on your path even more strongly than you have as yet, then you would do the Prema Pranahuti. And you'll notice that when you do the Prema Agni, your feet are together. When you do the Prema Pranahuti, as I said, your feet are just slightly apart. You're standing on your feet. Your knees are not locked. You're just naturally standing. And you're activating your aura. You're opening your higher chakras. You're relieving your crown. You're activating the star to help you stand in your own power and bring in even more light than you've ever done. And in your own conscious field in front of you, where your consciousness is focused, it's all coming together. So it's a totally different application, even though it works the same way. So I just wanted to point out simply the difference. Again, you'll have to explore the other tutorials to help you if you really want to get a full grasp of everything. For our purposes here, we're focused on the Premapranahuti. So I just wanted to show you the base so that you can see full circle where it comes from and where you're going. And so it's okay to just do it all in the consciousness. So you're doing it from the top down. Here, you're doing it from the heart first. But here, you're incorporating with the Premapranahuti all the higher chakras of yourself while you're incorporating, anchoring the energy into your earth star. So let's just do it one more time, practice before, so I want to make sure you get it. So again, your feet are together. A little bit apart, apologize. And you're here, you're just standing. Breathe in gently, breathe out. To the sides, you don't have to do all of this. You can just naturally, however you breathe out. So when you're ready, after you're centered, breathe in a little, nose out through the mouth, side, breathe in. Bring fingers, hands together, cupped. See how my hands are coming together, all the fingers cupped. Come up, hold your breath. And at this point, you release your breath. Bring your fingers all together. Make the star, top, star, down. Drop your left hand. You want to do the 3, to the side. Then you drop your left hand and do the lines coming down to the heart. Then you do the heart. Then you come up and do the triangle. 9 to the right. Drop your left hand. Do the line across. Come up and around in your aura. Observe with eyes open or closed if you want. Bowl of abundance. Coming into your heart chakra area here. You're holding. 3 times to yourself. Premapranahuti, 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 Shiva. Hold it. You've turned on the switch. You've acknowledged to the universe that you're ready to move forward in line with the Premapranahuti, the fully realized being that you can be. And you just drop your hands and go about your business. So we'll do it one more time. And that's why we're have this long tutorial so you can practice. And it's okay if you mess up a little bit. Again, it's your intention that's important. Again, you're standing naturally, feet just slightly apart and open, not crazy. Take a moment to center. And I'm going to breathe in. Breathe out gently through the mouth. Bring my hands out to the side. And my aura and my energy signifying I want to open up and release. And I'm going to breathe in. Bring my fingers together. Holding my breath, bringing my hands up in front of me in my consciousness. Not too high, not too low, just right up there. And I release my breath, gently opening the mouth. Bring my fingers together. Make the six-pointed star, the top part, then the bottom part, signifying the opening of the higher chakras and the awakening and opening of the crown chakra. Then I'm going to take my thumb and forefinger, and I'm going to do the 3 fingers open to either side. Then I'm going to drop my left hand. I'm going to open my right hand and bring my 5 fingers open down, right in front of me, all in the area, to the top of the heart. Then I'm going to bring my fingers together again, start at the dip of the heart at the top, make the heart shape. You can see I'm almost framing my face naturally, and I'm not even reaching, it just happened naturally, right? Bring the line down to solar plexus, symbolizing divine will over your will. Then go back up, fingers together, draw the triangle, drop your left hand, bring your right hand to the top of the triangle, do 9 to the right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Bring it down naturally where the arm will go, which is by your root chakra. And when you do, don't worry about making it too much or too little. Just focus on what best you can do. Then you're going to bring your hand up through your aura again, right to the right, right to left, go across, cutting through any limitation of consciousness, any limitation that's, delaying you from stepping forward. And right releases anything, so you're releasing it from your being, your aura, your body. Then you're going to undo your fingers by cupping your hand instead of just holding your fingers together. And clockwise to the right, you're going to go up, not reaching, just naturally as you extend up into your aura. And you're inviting and allowing and bringing in as much light as the Premapranahuti will allow. And you bring it up into your Hara chakra. So you've always touched and transformed and allowed light to go to your lower chakras, which is the really important area to transform and release and maintain, because those are the areas that get the most confusing, the most attachment, etc., right? And you hold at, almost right by your belly button, just naturally where your arm would go. Not too much, not too little. And you're holding that bowl shape. And you may feel or see light or energy forming, both your eyes open or closed. You may just feel it and not see anything. But you're connecting. That's the important thing, right? And then as long as you can take, if you want to stay there a few minutes, that's great in meditation. If you wanted to stay a few seconds, whatever you can. I would say give it a good 5 seconds, even if you're doing a fast one. You say to yourself 3 times, aloud or silent if you need to, Premapranahuti, 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 Shiva. Come up to your heart, turn on that light switch, open and awaken and tell the universe, my heart is ready and open to receive in divine alignment with Source, my full ascension process. That's what you're doing by that simple action. You don't have to say it. And of course, again, the natural smile you might find radiates, or you'll just feel uplifted, which is what's important. And hold it there again as long as you can, at least 5 seconds. If you want to hold it a minute, that's fine. And then when you're ready, just drop your hand, open your eye, and go about your business. So now you may want to note where the timestamp is, so that I'm going to do one now in simple silence, full out, so that if you want to refer to it to practice and see how it's done over and over, you can go back to that time plot. You don't have to see the whole video, right? So I'll give you a second to do that. Okay, so here I am, standing in my power and my light, simply and easily and effortlessly. My feet are just open slightly, legs right under me. Amen. Premapranahuti, Premapranahuti, Premapranahuti. Shiva. And of course, Shiva refers to the god of destroying all that is no longer in alignment with light. And so when you evoke the Shiva energy, you are finally saying, that's it, I'm ready. I'm cutting out all the nonsense and I'm ready to move forward. And so that is the Premapranahuti. So, in closing, I hope you have learned much today to assist you in your ascension, and you explore these precious sacred symbols and incorporate them into your daily routine. Again, you can contact me or go online in the official website and Google Explore. In closing, I will shortly put up an image of the Premapranahuti full screen for 3 minutes, and you are encouraged to sit and meditate in silent observation with eyes open, absorbing the energy of the symbol, which is the ultimate mirror of who you are evolving to become, to really bring this all together and allow your consciousness to click in and soak all of what you've experienced today, all of the new information that you may not have known before today, or you may have just been somewhat aware of. And so give yourself that time to just allow the symbol to fully work on your consciousness and click in with eyes open. And then if you want to continue with eyes closed for a time, if you have some time when you're watching this, please do so if you're in the moment. If not, just give thanks and go about your day. So again, much love and happy ascension. Please feel free to share this video. And should you wish to be included in the mailing list for upcoming Premapranahuti circles, which will involve a lot more people in the stream, or we will do it live in events in person, whether with myself and most likely other facilitators coming, will come forward. Please request inclusion at the email given in the description of this presentation on whatever platform you are viewing it. So thank you once again. I am much grateful, and I hope that you will again incorporate these symbols into your routine. And I promise you, it will mean a world of difference. And again, you don't have to be an adept or a spiritual teacher or anything like that. This is you and Source speaking to each other. Amen. And just continue to observe the symbol and just allow it to be part of your consciousness now.